6:35 work session prior to our council meeting. Our council meeting will begin at 6:30, right after this meeting, so we're gonna get on with the work session and open the floor up for the department heads and council to discuss items that were of importance on the agenda. So I'll start with Allison. James.
The only thing I have is all the AV equipment is in now. It's installed, and programming is going to happen the 19th and 20th because they have to have 2 days. So going between the court and council is kind of a slim spot. So the 19th and 20th, and then after that, we'll start using the new AV equipment for our meetings.
All right. Ms. Grace, do you have reports for us?
No report.
Chief?
Yes, sir. I've got one item on the agenda. It's a pretty big item. It covers 2 topics. We need to replace our ladder truck and the engine that runs out of Station 1, Engine 21. We're not asking for funding tonight. We just need to get on the list because there's a 3 to 5 year lead time on fire apparatus right now. So if we can get the ladder truck approved, we will not have to fund it until 2027. And then the pumper we would fund in 2028. And that would allow us to stay in a good apparatus replacement plan. And it would also allow us to move those current trucks into reserve status, which means they still get used every day as other trucks are out of service for maintenance or repairs. And we could get rid of the older reserve trucks that we have now. The current reserve trucks we have will be, if we order these trucks, will be close to 20 years old when we replace them, and we still use them every day. We just need to get approval to go ahead and place an order. We've already spec'd the trucks out. I've got the contracts. I've got the details here if you guys want to see it. Just see how thick it is, because those trucks have a lot of components on them. But we're just asking for approval to go ahead and get on the list to get the trucks built.
And for the council, I know that that's odd. Normally we don't have to ask for something like this way prior to us ever budgeting those items, but it became, important to us, and it's still, to me, I don't know how we sit here and order something and issue a PO, make a commitment for 3 to 4 years away from now.
Right.
So the council needs to decide exactly how to handle this. It was something that I felt the need to go ahead and address, because through COVID we've seen a lot of rising cost, and then secondly a delay in the manufacturing end of things. So that is where we are, and if there's any discussion, we need to have those discussions and put this all in the plans for the city going forward. So Chief is bringing this up at this time. I know it's odd.
Mayor, is there a way for us to kind of prorate budget money for this over the next 2 or 3 years as we're leading up to the actual purchase? If we budgeted, say, a quarter of the money each year.
That's what we want to. That's what we want to plan for, and that's how we want to do it incrementally. Kelly's got it coming to you in our budget work sessions, and yes, we would appropriate some amount of money, for these acquisitions, prior to 2027 and 2028. So best suited way to do it is let Kelly go through the numbers at the budget time of year. So that's a big item.
That's a breakdown to budget each year until they're.
Yes. Now that we're using the capital project fund and we can set money aside, we just started using that 2 years ago, and that's what we've had a lot of dialogue. Actually, Sean's gone out to 2042 talking about his replacement plan and what that looks like. So I'd like to see setting money aside every year you know, we have a set number of police cars we do every year. I'd like to see setting a set amount aside for the fire trucks. So we're not hit with that big amount.
That's right, sounds good to me.
I think if we keep kicking around and don't have something decided, the price is just, obviously, we see it increasing drastically. So I think they said we would kind of firm up the price at the time we ordered it, correct?
Yes, sir. I've got firm pricing for both vehicles. Typically, I think the last 2 or 3 years, we've seen about a 6% price increase. You know, with COVID, there was about a 20% jump, and then the prices got there and stayed, but you see about a 6% annual increase. But if we go ahead and order the trucks now, we'll be locked in contractually to that price. And in the contract, there is a clause that will allow us, because it's so far out, we can get out of the contract. You know, as it gets closer to the production time, then there would be some penalties involved, but, you know, just in case the city was in a position where they couldn't fund it, there would be a way to get out of the contract.
So what happens if it's ready before the time
It won't be.
purchased?
That's gonna, I talked to to both of the dealers or the manufacturers that we're dealing with, and that's pushing the time frame. If anything, it might be a little bit longer than that.
Is these trucks fully equipped with hoses and all that?
No, sir, this price is just for the truck. We'll have to purchase equipment. A lot of the equipment existing equipment will move over, but we still have to, you know, have equipment to keep our reserve trucks ready to go. So, you know, that'll be another request. And if you look forward in the capital request, I put the funding in there for, I think I put it in for 26 and 27, but we're gonna have to move it forward a little bit, but that price did include equipment. So.
Kelly?
I don't have anything.
Chief?
That's similar to our situation with the cars, although it's not nearly that long a lead time. But we did check back with Ford again today, and our cars have not started building our 2024s. And Ford told us that some departments that ordered months before we did back in November, they haven't started building those yet. So we still want to consider maybe ordering the 2025s early so we can get them early in FY 2025 or maybe middle of 2025. I don't know. Not as severe a delay as they have, but still a pretty long delay. Last week we had our youth mental health class at Christian Life Fellowship. That was a success. I was a little concerned. I was called by the people putting it on, and we had a low registration at first. I think we had 25 slots, and a few days out we only had 12 people registered, but we ended up having a good crowd. I sent it out to everybody again, and we had invited churches, our schools, anybody who works with youth. I forwarded it to a lot of different people, but we had 4 of our officers trained in recognizing mental health crisis in youth, which I think was great, and it was excellent for us to be able to host that and to get that training here free of charge. Christian Life Fellowship hosted it, and I want to thank them again. We've started our first vape cessation class. Now, you know we've been doing routine vape awareness in all of our different schools, and we've been doing the online safety for kids awareness, but we've started one of the, after we catch the kids and they go through our court system, we have the vape cessation, where we have a 10-week program where officers are certified to help these kids get off their addiction to whatever substances they're addicted to. Some of them can be nicotine, some of them unfortunately can be drugs, THC and other drugs in the vapes. In addition to that, today, some of you may have heard, we got quite a few calls, but we brought 9 drug dogs to our school, and we searched cars in the parking lot, virtually every car. And we found some vapes. Didn't find nearly as much as I was afraid we would. And it's my understanding, I also learned today, that a lot of schools aren't doing that anymore. It used to be a routine, and we've always done it here, and I thought most other schools did it. I don't know why schools aren't doing it. A lot of schools also have the vape detection devices in the bathrooms, and it's my understanding that some of the schools that have those are removing them. My opinion is they don't want people to know how bad the problem is. And the problem is everywhere. It's not just, we're certainly not unique. It's everywhere. And I would rather not stick our heads in the sand. I would rather try to find these things, because the ones our dogs are finding, they're not finding nicotine. They don't detect nicotine. So I was a little nervous we'd have a heck of a lot more than we actually did have, but we recovered a few, and it's going to send a message to the kids. You know, we're teaching them what not to do. We're teaching them how to get off of it. When we catch them, we're running them through our system, and we're giving them the training. But in addition to the training, we're holding them accountable, and we're getting the things out of the school. So that's what we're doing. Not everybody's happy about it, but I would rather do that than have to take kids to the hospital overdosing and that sort of thing. I don't know if y'all saw it in the news, but Shelby County's Drug Task Force not too long ago arrested a man on 280 at an apartment, and he was taking vapes, taking the little vial out, and he was putting substances in the vial, different drugs, fentanyl, THC, whatever, and then putting them back together. And so they're selling them. You know, you can get them hand to hand, you can get them off Craigslist or Marketplace or whatever. So those were clearly making it into Shelby County schools, and we don't know what's in the thing. So I think it's a serious problem that we really need to stay on top of, and I appreciate you guys supporting that, but we're attacking it from a lot of different angles, not just education, but enforcement as well, which I know the mayor had pointed out when we started this, that he was a proponent of the enforcement as well, which I think all of us are. We do both. Hold people accountable and do provide education and training as well. That's all I got right now other than what's on the agenda. But I do appreciate y'all's support of that program. And, you know, we had to answer some questions from parents because there was a lot of police activity at the school today. But it's my intention to keep doing that, and nobody knows when we're going to do it. And that's how we get those things out of those kids' hands. That's all I got.
Kevin? Bill? Reggie?
No, sir.
Ms. Kay?
Thank you. Bill Hilliard, need to bring to your attention the storm drain on Highway 16 in Emerald Ridge. James, did you receive the pictures yet?
No, ma'am, I still haven't received them.
Yeah, did you check your phone?
I get a notification, I get the email, I haven't received them.
Okay, well, we'll show them to you whenever they come up on James' equipment. But the storm drains, that storm drain needs immediate attention. It's covered completely, overgrown, has tires, a lot of debris right there off 16 when you're turning the storm drain.
Okay.
Okay, like I say, it's in really bad shape. So, do we have a schedule for inspections of storm drains throughout the city?
We actually do. We use a system called Workforce, and it works with our mapping. And what the workers do is the supervisor can assign it in Workforce for them. We do it with our storm drains, grass cutting, do it with everything. They've got everything mapped, and they'll make assignments to the workers to go ahead and check storm drains. Now, we check the ones that have the probably biggest impact to our stormwater system in the city first. But yes, we do have a system to check them. Now, it's only on right of way. Outside of right of way, we do not do any work on storm drains that is outside of the right of way. That belongs to the subdivision.
Well, that's right, like in the ditch. It's
We'll look at it and see.
Okay, yeah. Just wanted to get you to go out and look at it
we'll look at it.
and address it soon if you could. My other statement is regarding the audit. Let me pass these down to, would you pass those down to the other council members? I received 2 emails from Miss Susie Cass of Truett, Tingle, Paramore, and Argent accounting firm regarding our current audit for fiscal year ending September 2023, along with some questions. How many council members received this email?
They randomly select council members and employees every year. It's a random selection, and so they do fraud exit interviews. And I mean, I went through an interview this year. I know Connie did. They randomly select.
I just
Councilmember.
asked the question, what other council members received that? I didn't need an answer from you right now. But you did? Any other council members? Okay, well, I received 2 emails. And so you're saying the reason why they didn't send it to all the council members is that that's a random thing they do?
It's random. Have you, Ernest, have y'all in the past gotten those? We have a firm that, and John, you've had it several years, it's just random. They actually, most audits they handle through like doing a selection. They enter employee numbers in a Excel spreadsheet, and it randomly generates who to interview. I think they randomly do department heads, like I was random this year. So, I mean, it's a...
Well, now, Ms. Capps indicated in the email that you gave her my contact information.
Yeah,
So-
she asked for your email. Yes, that's correct.
Okay, now,
And it's a fraud interview. It's just going through asking if you know any instances of wrongdoing or, you know, such as that. I mean, that's the question she asked you, correct?
right, so though, wouldn't the accounting firm want feedback? Why wouldn't they want it from all council members?
They do random, it's a yearly, you can talk to other cities. This is very customary for them to randomly ask questions of council members and employees. That's a typical.
Okay, so is Miss Susie Capps conducting the audit for the year 2022 through 2023?
Yes, that's our auditing firm.
When will those audit findings be published and an audit letter provided to us?
Our deadline to have that done is March 31st of every year, and we're wrapping it up.
Okay, when will we get those audit letters?
It'll be completed by March 31st. It goes to our bond company, March 31st. It gets sent to them by that date, and then they send us the published documents. You know, every year I give you a copy of the audit, and it's on our website.
Yeah, usually the CPA will provide a letter summarizing the audit, right?
It's in the front. If you go to our website, all our audits are listed and all our positive audit findings are there for going back years.
Okay, all the audits from previous years on the website, right, James?
That's correct.
Okay.
We even put a little button right in the middle of the front page there.
And our bond company requires it by March 31st every year. And we receive the best reviews you can get. Every
Okay,
year.
now, we receive the best reviews we can get, right?
Yes, correct.
Okay, now, in my opinion, the CPA should be on a line item on the agenda for the council to go over any findings from the audit with the council, so.
In the past, we haven't had auditors come. That's not, some cities do, some don't. I mean, that's completely, and as I've told y'all every year when I give out the audit, you have their contact information. Any questions or any issues, feel free to reach out to them.
Oh, great. But how was this CPA and the accounting firm selected?
Like the league lays out what the state statute is, it's the mayor appoints the auditing firm. We had used a firm for many years here, and I think it's good practice to change ever so often. So 3 years ago we changed. We're using a firm that both Alabaster and Pelham are currently using. They're very, he's been involved with the Hoover audit. It's a very knowledgeable auditing firm.
Okay. Well, I noticed at the bottom of both the emails that she sent to me that Miss Susie Capps, her CPA status is inactive. Would you look at the bottom there? It shows inactive.
I think she was taking the CPA exam. She's not the main auditor. We have 3 or 4 auditors come in every year, but my understanding when she was here, she was taking the exam. Patrick Bowman is the lead auditor. And
Well,
he's a CPA.
Patrick Bowen didn't send me a letter. The inactive CPA, Susie Capps, sent me a letter. So now, this is my understanding of the law when it comes to inactive status of a CPA.
She's had
Just a minute, excuse me, I'm speaking. Please don't, I'll allow you to
Allow me.
answer my question when I finish, like I said. My understanding of the law when it comes to inactive CPA status is Alabama law, accountancy, law code of Alabama, 1975, Title 34, Chapter 1, Section 34-1-11 states, anyone holding an Alabama CPA certificate must register annually with the board and if practicing in Alabama, must hold an active status permit to practice and report CPE, continuing professional education annually. Now, inactive license holders will not be permitted to practice as a CPA until their license is active. And in order to switch their license back, they will need to apply for reinstatement and meet the license renewal requirements. You cannot practice as a CPA or advertise as such. Now, per Alabama Code 1975, 34-1, -11B1, 34-1, 11B2 also states, inactive CPAs and PAs are not allowed to practice public accountancy and must place inactive adjacent to their CPA or PA title on all publications, business cards, letterhead, LinkedIn site, resumes, and so forth. So Ms. Capps did exactly that. She placed inactive status on her email. Now, it shouldn't be approved, number one, that we are using someone, a CPA, in or out of active status. Wait just a minute. So, who approved her to do our audits?
She does not sign off on her audit. You didn't have to do all that research, ma'am. I'm a CPA and I could have explained it to you.
Yes, I did. I needed to do
Our
all
audit
this.
is not signed by her. Our audit is signed by Patrick Bowman, who's a CPA. So I'm
It
sorry you
matters
did all that.
not that she shouldn't have been contacting me if her status
She can
was
work for a
inactive.
CPA firm and ask you a question. It's very customary for a CPA firm to have, they hire accountants who haven't passed a CPA exam. They note on there that they're inactive, they're not a CPA, to let you know that. But our audits are handled by a CPA firm. But it's customary, every year when they come in, they bring maybe a new accountant, or it takes a couple of years to pass a CPA exam. So that is customary. You didn't have to do all that research. There's nothing wrong with her.
I had to do it all because she didn't have any business sending
Send
me
you an email.
anything if she's not a CPA. Yes, ma'am, and I need confirmation of everything you're saying. But again, I have additional questions. How do they charge us on an annual basis to do the audits? How much is it?
It is in the budget every year.
I'm asking you.
And I would say we saved about $30,000 when we changed. We priced that out and we receive a significant savings. So we're paying a lot less than we used to because we do a lot of the audit in-house. So.
Okay.
But it's a budget line. It's in your budget.
Okay. A lot less is what amount? What is the dollar amount that we're paying them annually to do our audits?
I can't say it off the top of my head, but it's a line item in the financials you get every month.
Yeah, well, I need that information from you. I'm asking you. I'm not looking at the budget and you're the person.
Well, you get the financials to look at every month. I can look it up for you if you can't find it.
Yeah, won't you do that now while I'm speaking? Look it up. Also, why wasn't this particular firm presented to the council for approval? This is an expense. We're having to pay them.
It's in the budget.
It matters
you look at the
not.
state code, you did all the research. It's the mayor's appointment.
Yeah, and we're the council and we approve.
And it was in the budget, yes, correct.
You're speaking over me just a minute. It's in the budget, right? But that was supposed to be presented to us during our council meeting because that's an expenditure, just like anything else that we would decide if we want to accept that bid. So that should have been, just excuse me, please let me finish, would you? Thank you. That should have been presented to the council for us to approve that if we wanted to pay that amount, if we wanted to look at other accounting firms. Now, let me ask you this. What is her experience? How many municipal audits has she done?
I've explained to you, she is not our auditor. Patrick Bowman is the CPA. She's just on the team that he brings in. And he has her email us questions.
Just let me finish, please. Now, This letter from her states that she's a staff accountant. Now, I don't know anything about anybody else or whoever you're mentioning right now. I'm looking at what she sent me.
She just
And
sent you an
she
email, ma'am.
indicated that she's the staff accountant, and this email says that she's a staff accountant, CPA inactive. Okay? Now, like the questions I'm asking you is how many municipal audits has she done?
They do the city of Alabaster, they do the city of Pelham, they also do Moody.
She does. The city of Alabaster with inactive
She's on a
status?
team with the lead CPA, Patrick Bowman. Yes, she's a staff accountant. She's not required to have a CPA. Somebody that's not a CPA can email you.
So why is she participating in our audits then? If she's not qualified or whatever, she's just sending out letters to, she just qualified enough to send letters to us requesting information.
Accounting firms can
But
have
she,
staff accountants that aren't
that's what you're
CPAs.
telling me, but I don't have any confirmation on that. Just a few more questions here. How many audits has she done? How many municipalities also? Still my question to you, Kelly, is why someone with an inactive status would be participating in our audits? You're saying she doesn't do this or she didn't do that, but she does something or she wouldn't request information from me.
She sent you an email. I've explained it a couple of times. I'm sorry you don't understand what I'm saying. But a staff accountant can send you an email. It's not a requirement you're a CPA to send an email for a fraud interview.
That's not what the law states.
The law does not state that
The
it
law
has to be a
states
CPA
that
to email
a
you.
CPA for a firm is required to have active status.
A
That's
firm.
what the law, I just read that to you.
You're saying the law says you have to be a CPA to send you an email, is what
Now,
you're
what I'm
saying.
saying is she's participating. If she's asking me questions, she just said, let me read you.
You're just wasting taxpayer
Let
time
me
here.
read you the front of this email. She says that she's performing an audit on our city. Here it is. We are in the process of completing the audit for the city of Calera. She said we are. That includes her. Wouldn't that include her? We are in the process of completing the audit for the city of Calera for the year ending 9/30/2023. That includes her with that inactive status.
I'm sorry you don't understand.
I'm sorry that we're not following the law once again.
Someone that works for a CPA firm does not have to be a CPA, and she can send you an email. That is not against the law.
If she sends me an email representing that firm, she should have an active status.
I'll have the CPA firm send you a
She
response.
should be in and out of active status requesting information that she's indicating that we're in the process of completing the audit for the city of Calera. That's clearly stated here.
I'm sorry
That
you
is
don't
what she
understand.
said. Okay? That's all I have. Thank you.
Debbie?
I really don't have anything, but I want to try to explain to Kay. To me, when I read this, it sounds like she is a fact finder, kind of like a paralegal. They can dig up information and help complete the process. So I feel like she indicates that she is just trying to get information, a fact finder.
Oh, well, that's your opinion. She said she's in the process. We are. Not them, not my firm, but we are. That includes her.
She's employed by the firm, Kate, and they're gathering information. If you don't wish to answer the information, just keep that to yourself.
You listen. If someone sends me information that they're working on our books and they're inactive, I won't keep it to myself. I'll bring that up as an issue.
Yeah, we're not asking you to fill this questionnaire out for the firm. You were randomly selected as one of the councils. A lot of these employees are randomly selected. You know, we want the best sampling. I say the firm wants the best sampling to render the best findings back to this city.
Well,
And this is the process.
Thank you. They would employ someone that is active then.
They do have employed active accountants. Kenny?
Yeah, I'll just give you a little report on Main Street. Pavilion's about 90% complete.
Turn your mic on,
I don't seem like I do nothing right today. But anyhow, the pavilion's 90% complete, and then I would say the new restroom is 65% complete. So things is moving very well down in at Main Street on the new part of it. I know that they've been a little dialogue going on about the multi-use court, the pickleball, and what all we want to do. I reviewed it with Bill today, and it looks like we're really cramped for room there. I don't know, Bill, was you able to put that on the screen?
Maybe.
Maybe.
We'll see. We'll see if it works.
Okay, well, let's look at it, and I know we voted on this, at the last council meeting, but when you go back and look at it, when Bill put it on the screen, it showed me today, we really cramped for room. So walkways was one of them. See if we can pull it up.
I'll try to zoom in and get a little closer to it. All right, so do I need to get a little closer? Probably do it on. So we've got, if you look at it here, the back of sidewalk to back of sidewalk, which is noted on these lines here, 180 foot. That's it. They can't move because the drainage, all these blue lines are already in. That's in. The drainage is set. So when you add the two playgrounds and then try to bring in a pickleball court, and what I did is outside of the play areas, whatever you want to call them, is where our lighting is, and I need a minimum of 20 inches to get my bases in for my lights. So when I set it out and just come 20 inches off the back of the sidewalk, this playground is around 73 feet and change long, and then has minimum 6'7" sidewalk. That's the bare minimum. And then I think this one is like 36 foot or something wide. I can't remember. And then add in another 6 foot sidewalk. When you get to the other end over here, I got 24, almost 25 inches. So I need 20 at the very minimum. So that means I got 5 inches to play with at 180 feet. So I don't have a whole lot of room in that. It makes it really, really tight trying to get everything in there. It's a tight fit already. That makes it even more of a tight fit. And that's the bare minimum. If you were going to call it a pickleball court, that's the bare minimum size of a pickleball court. It's a 30 by 60. So, I mean, it's a really, really tight fit. And aesthetics view, you'll notice, you know, the original plan had, if you're looking at the pavilion, the original plan had your sidewalk centered with the two play areas. Doing this, your sidewalks are not really centered with your pavilion. They're kind of, you know, they're kind of out of center with it. But just going to the two playground areas, you can have a 10-foot sidewalk, which gives you more, gives you path for, you know, two wheelchairs and pedestrian traffic. And it also allows you to center that sidewalk on the pavilion. And it still gives you about 21, 22 feet over here on this side for, you know, if you wanted to do cornhole, if you wanted to do whatever, you know, for the entertainment area. You still have plenty of room to do that. But trying to put all three, you know, you gotta be pretty accurate to be within 5 inches over 180 feet. And like I said, the sidewalk, we can't go out anymore because the curb is already set for drainage. It's already set. To move that, we'd have to dig up, you know, some of the concrete pipes from the ground and start trying to move that. So it's very tight, real tight.
What's your recommendation, Bill?
To me, I mean, I think it's better to go with the two play areas. Center your sidewalk, you've got a wider sidewalk with your pavilion. Aesthetically, I think it'll look better. It won't look quite as crowded in that area. It's not a real big space. It may look big, but once we start getting the curbing in, you're gonna realize it's not really a big space. You know, and keep in mind, you got a phase 2 across the road. It's gonna give you a lot of space. So there's a lot of opportunities to do other things, you know, in the phase 2 part. I don't know that it'd be worth the fight trying to get within those 5 inches on this space. That's my recommendation. Is to do the two playgrounds areas, send your sidewalk up, give a nice wide sidewalk. You know, can allow a lot of traffic between, you know, the buildings and the pavilion. A lot of flow through.
And two, you would have to have a 6-foot tall fence for the pickleball.
Yeah, I'm by no means a pickleball expert. I don't know if I've ever seen a pickleball in my life. I'm either not old enough or not young enough. I don't know which one I am. I think I'm in the middle point right now, being a pickleball player. But at the playground, I think you got a minimum of 4 foot. I believe is, you know, for a playground, and then a pickleball would be 6 foot. So you have, looking at it, not only would your sidewalks be all centered, but you'd have 2 different elevation of fence levels. You know.
It sounds to me that, like you just said, the pickleball court does not fit within that footprint, and maybe we can look to have it somewhere else, but I don't see the need to overcrowd just to say we've got a pickleball court in there, when it could be possibly put somewhere else.
I think we counted 9 pickleball courts that are coming to the city between Eagle Park and Rolling Hill. So I think we've got pickleball covered in those respective areas. And, you know, playing the game, I've played the game. I play the game in an indoor space. You can play it indoor or outdoor, but that ball's flying around. My concern is the ball's flying loose and somebody trying to enjoy their children on the playground, small children. They're gonna get hit with that hard wiffle ball, hard plastic ball. That ball's gonna go flying. It's not gonna stay in the court. My kids and our game is pretty intense. And I'm not saying that people are not competitive and won't get out there and just really try hard to play pickleball. You know, that doesn't appeal. It doesn't seem to be the right place for a pickleball court, in my opinion. So that's why it's being talked about.
Is
But
there,
if I'm not mistaken-
See the other option? I've never seen it drawn out with the 2.
With just the 2 playgrounds?
Yes, sir, could you show
Yeah.
us that?
So the playground itself, there can be no adjustment on it.
I haven't checked with them, but this is the file they sent me, and the original file came over with what they have as clear zones. So you gotta keep in mind, you know, I don't have the exact details on it, but it looks like some of this is for, you know, special needs situations. So you've only got 15 foot, like say you're looking at the swing set, there's 15 foot from the bracing of the swing set to the fence. So you're probably gonna say no. 15 foot is not a lot of room, especially when you're looking at a, you know, special needs swing set. You know, because you want to make sure there's plenty of room where people don't, even if they're swinging, there's no chance of somebody coming behind getting knocked down. They got room to get between there and the fence. I would imagine that the original file came in with a lot of the clear zones in it. Of course, we had to clean a lot of that up to get it in. But let's see.
But also, then, this is not only just consider a pickleball court. I noticed that everything's been said is geared toward pickleball, but this is a multi-purpose.
I think the original plan that I was always familiar with up until the last council meeting a couple of weeks ago, the only thing that we had ever heard talked about primarily was cornhole areas. You know, an area to play, whether you toss horseshoes or play cornhole. You know, we've had a cornhole tournament out there, an event out there that we had cornhole. And the way it looks with Bill's drawing, the original drawing that Chris worked on and Bill has picked up on, is there is some common space. You put 200-300 people out there trying to, one thing, walk around and play those games and be on that playground. It gives us space. If we go trying to alter and condense and add more, it's a real cluster, and I think that's missing the big picture of what we're trying to do.
So here's the layout with just the playground. Your 10-foot sidewalks centered with your pavilion, and then you've got 8 foot on one side, and you've got close to 22 on the other side. So you could put, if you want to do cornhole, you've got room for cornhole here, you've got room for cornhole here. You'll have room for different areas to do whatever people want to do. So it gives you a little bit more room. But see, like from this right here to the back of the brace for the swing sets of that fence is only 15 foot. So I would imagine, this is the file they gave us, I would imagine there's clear zones for all that equipment that they probably would not recommend going, decreasing that clear zone.
Anything else you had,
No,
Kevin?
Well, I'm gonna go back to something Ms. Kay had brought up a little bit earlier. When I received this email, I did kind of had some thoughts about this, because we had just had a council meeting and things had gotten kind of heated concerning the audit reports, or the statement was made that people were saying something about money being missing or something pertaining to that. And it just kind of caught my attention right after that. Then I received this email. So that was I'm just saying, to me, that was kind of.
The auditors are aware, they're in our auditor office for a month or so, so they were aware that Ms. Kay accused me of sandbagging money. So if an auditor, I think it is random, but for an accusation, if I'm an auditor and someone makes an accusation such as that, I would think it's common to send a question, But it's customary to send fraud interviews. It's just asking if you know of any wrongdoing. So I'm not sure, it's your opportunity. You get interviewed to ask if there's any wrongdoing. It's an opportunity to share if something's.
It was just ironic that it just so happened right after this.
Well, it's also the end of our
conversation had
audits.
taken place.
These interviews happen at the end of the audit too. March 31st, our deadline, so.
That's all I have.
Alan?
I don't have anything tonight.
Ernest?
Just one thing I want to bring out, and I can do it when we
get to what he had on the agenda tonight.
Alan, would you open this up?
First, Father God, we come before you and just thank you for what you do for us. We thank you for your mercies and your grace each day. Father, we ask for your forgiveness where we fail you, and we ask that you lead, guide, and direct our thoughts and actions throughout this meeting. In Jesus' name. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the first item I have is the approval of the agenda that you've got before you. So your motion, we approve and dispense this agenda. Move forward with the items on it.
I make a motion.
Got a motion?
I'll second.
A second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Now, have the approval of the minutes from our regular meeting and our work session on February 19th. I hear a motion, we approve and dispense those.
I'll make a motion.
I second.
Got a motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
We have, Chief Hines has got the policies, a portion of his policies that are on this agenda, resolution 2024-14. This is one that we will need unanimous consent. So is there anybody want to make unanimous consent?
I'll move for unanimous consent.
I'll
Got a
second.
motion and a second of unanimous consent. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any discussion? If there's any discussion, now's the time. If not, we'll adopt these policies, 303, 304, 300, 302, listed out on your agenda. Got a motion, we
I
approve.
move for approval.
I second.
Got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
That's it. Chief Kendrick mentioned to you in the work session about the fire apparatus request that we've been dealing with for a short period of time, and it's come to our attention how long these pieces of equipment are the lead time from the manufacturers, and we want to get on the agenda, get this squared away. It's something that we need to plan for. The dates that we're seeing are 2027, 2028. Kelly and I and Chief have talked a good bit about the funding of these, and that's something that we'll aggressively look at in this year's budget work session for the following next 3 or 4 years in budget preparation. So I guess we'll open the floor up for discussion on that. What we're asking for now is not to fund it. We're wanting to come up with an authorization from the council to place the order. And those orders won't take delivery before the dates that the chief sent you.
Correct.
And mentioned to you. So it's not getting something prematurely. It's gonna work hand in hand with what we fund and the way we budget going forward. And he's mentioned to you that there's no penalties if we got down the road and weren't able to fund those items. So there's no huge penalties. We just wanna put a placeholder basically
Well,
in
even,
production.
Mayor, you mentioned about there will be no penalty, but what do we have to put down?
There's no initial, until the equipment's delivered to us, there's no initial payment.
Okay.
So there's no penalties for for if something changed on behalf of the city of Clear.
My question was, I was gonna ask, Keith Kendrick, is, since those things with those two trucks would be, say, 4 years down the road, or 5 years, whatever the time is, and if you order them now, what do they come in as? 2024?
No, they'll come in as the year model they're built.
Okay.
So we'll, basically, would be ordering a they'd be built in 26 and 27, but they would, you know, take delivery after the October budget date, so they would, their plate would be stamped with the year that they're manufactured.
Okay, 2020, so then we'll basically, purchase them at this price now
Yes,
for
sir.
something that's 4 or 5 years new?
That's correct.
Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And all
And these, you know, we run these trucks, you know, anywhere from 12 to 16 years service life as frontline apparatus, and then they stay in reserve for several years. So what you're approving now is gonna be in service in this city in 20 years, close to it.
That seems like a good deal, especially in that area. The other thing I was just concerned about, you know, I know this is a way out thinking, what if we got a grant or something that would, gonna pay for a truck? Would that still be honorable with something that's on delivery, that's already ordered, or that have to be something, will be passed over because that would be something new? I know that's far-fetched, but it can happen. We have got.
My understanding with AFG grants, the Assistance to Firefighters grants, we've received several of those in the past year. You cannot fund a truck that's already been ordered. However, you know, we're gonna grow in the future. So sometime down the road, we'll be out in the 4th fire station, so we'll need to buy even more trucks. So there'll be plenty of opportunities for grants. And we apply for grants every year.
That's one of my concerns, is like, what if, you know, I know that's hardly could happen, but say we got $1 million for a new truck.
We've done 2 grants for apparatus for trucks over the past 2 or 3 years, and we didn't make it. We didn't make the cut on those. It's a very competitive process, so we do that every year, in some capacity.
Mayor, do we need to create some type of resolution to be able to do this, or what do we need?
I think we're just asking, I obviously want your permission to go ahead and make the council's permission to make a board request. Like I said, it's basically a placeholder. You know, we tell them now what we want, and we can't take delivery of it anytime, because these are the dates that they've given us.
Right. And we kind of discussed
So-
what the long-range plan was for budgeting.
That's right.
I would like to see it approved, is my vote.
Just make a motion.
We need to vote, yeah, I'll make a motion.
And those numbers that you sent to us, Chief, those are the true numbers, correct?
Yes, sir. Those numbers that I sent you in the email that'll be a contractual agreement between the city and the manufacturer.
Okay, you can leave it now.
Got a motion from Alex.
Second.
Motion and a second to move forward with the order request for those 2 fire apparatus. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed likewise. Next on the agenda, we have the league convention, May 15th through 18th. This particular meeting will be in Huntsville, Alabama. We need the voting delegates. Do you know if you're going to this one, Ernest?
Yes, I plan to.
We need a voting delegate, if you don't mind doing that, and then an alternate. Are you going to go, Carol?
Calvin, did you say you're going?
Yes.
Who would like to be a 3rd person, which is a 2nd alternate? I think they're asking for 3 this year.
Yes.
Ms. Kay, are you going, or?
I hadn't decided, are you going there?
I'm not, I don't think I'm gonna be able to attend all of the meetings, and this is usually the last day of the league, so,
Is that Friday?
yeah.
I'll plan for
Debbie, you wanna make Ernest?
I have Ernest as one, Calvin as the first alternate, and Debbie as the second alternate.
If that's good with the council, we'll make that motion. Somebody make that motion?
I'll motion for that approval.
I second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Kenny Dale, are you attending?
Yes.
And, the other ones that when you know, you'll let me know, I'll make your, reservations and register you for the conference.
Okay.
On the, next item, we have a proposal for a property appraisal request. You get that information. And, that is a piece of property that we've discussed anyway. The appraisal needs to take place, and that's what we want to get going with, if you want to move forward with that. Any discussion on that? If not, I need a motion to engage on that contract for the property appraisal request. Property is on Highway 31, 8371 US Highway 31, 19th Avenue.
I make the motion, we get the appraisal for that piece of property.
Got a motion?
I second.
Motion and a second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Next, we have a request from the IDB to appoint a board member. We have a vacancy anyway. The board sent information to the council for Candace Robertson, who's willing to serve on that board. Any discussion on that, or do I have a motion that we put Candace on that board?
I'll make the motion.
Got a motion
I second.
and a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Next, we have a real distinct individual in the crowd with us, a retiree from the city of Calera, Mr. Johnny Humphreys. We want to recognize you as a long history of employment here at the city. You've been here since 1990.
Yes, sir.
You have chosen to retire, correct?
Yes, sir.
Come forward, Bill. You got a certificate of recognition from the governor.
Johnny, 33 years?
Yes, sir. A little over.
When I first,
34.
yeah, almost just a few months. When I first got here, I realized real quick, Johnny was a man of few words, but it took him a little bit, but when he did say, he knew a lot more than he let on. He would let you struggle for a while, and then you'd try to ask the question, oh yeah, we did that 10 years ago. That's not a big deal. I'm like, why didn't you tell me? You see? So I think you like to see me sweat a good bit, but I know this is something that everybody looks forward to, and I know you've been looking forward to it. And I know you've been enjoying it so far, right?
Oh, yes, sir. What we all work for.
Well, congratulations and have a happy retirement.
All right, thank you. I'd like to thank the mayor and council for your leadership. Connie, Peyton, your staff has always been helpful. Appreciate
It's
it.
been my pleasure.
Kelly, thank you for your help with the budgets over the years. Stacy's not here, I don't guess. Stacy Walker, she made this retirement process a breeze. I think all I had to do was sign my name a couple of times. So, we got that done.
Here, Johnny.
Yeah. I said, I got a few family members in the back, Roy, Charity. My crew in the back, some of them are here. I appreciate y'all guys. You always done a good job. We took on a lot of challenges. We got them done, so I appreciate it. I know I'm missing a few, but anyway, thank y'all.
We appreciate you. That's always a bittersweet moment, I know. Johnny, I encourage you to stay active.
Oh, yes, sir.
So many times, people go and sit down once they retire, and I don't think our bodies do good when we do that.
He's been done that yet.
Stay active and you'll stay youthful.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Yes, appreciate it.
All right, Amanda, with the streetlight request, are you in here? All right, Jackie, talk to us about Main Street.
Sure. Thanks, John.
See you, Johnny.
Good evening. I left packets for you ahead of the meeting. I went ahead and put those at your places. This is just our sponsorship packet that I go around town and beat the bushes with. I promised you all of our current standing there, just to kind of walk you through that. On the right-hand side of these packets, that's our typical sponsor letter and sponsorship levels and all of those types of things. And I would encourage you, if you know any businesses that you think I need to speak to potentially raise some additional money for Main Street, I would be more than happy to, I would appreciate the introduction if you can suggest any. It's definitely sponsorship season, so it's time to go raise funds, and that's what we're doing. On the left-hand side is, you'll see the impact report, and I believe we talked about that last month. I had that for you all. But those economic impact dollars at the bottom of that, I think are a lot, we have a lot that we can be very proud of with those. And I love the reflection of that against the entire state. Coincidentally, I have the privilege of going with Main Street, Alabama, Wednesday to Montgomery to advocate for dollars and thank our legislators for the monies that they were able to secure for us this year, and hopefully that will continue moving forward. We're able to apply for grants that helps us with everything that we do. Behind that is where we talk about First Fridays. So I'm excited that I can hardly believe that it is already March, much less it's a month away from First Friday festival season starting again. But that is a flyer that you're welcome to put up or share with anybody that you may know. April 5th will be the first Friday, and that is our annual Calera Crawfish Boil. So we're tickled about that. We will set up adjacent to, we'll stay way out of the way of any kind of construction, but we will still be adjacent and be downtown so that we can hype up all the great things that are happening downtown. I want to express my continued gratitude with all of the great progress that is happening in our Calera courtyard, because it's tremendous. And I'm telling people all day, every day, that you're not going to recognize downtown Calera in another year. It's really amazing what has already taken place and what's about to come. A couple of things though, and then I will sit down and be quiet. For First Fridays, I just want to bring the council along and request permission because of adjusting, and our footprint changes every month based on what's happening down there. But I would love to have permission to close 17th so that we could, just during the festival and evenings, so that we could park food trucks along there and then utilize the new parking area at where Bowden was and the new parking lot beside it. I think that's ample space to be able to set up tents, food trucks, and whatnot. And I'll get with Bill later to make sure that it is possible. But if possible, it would be lovely to be able to be under the pavilion for people to be able to sit and eat and maybe have the band there, so long as we could make it very safe and not be anywhere that would encroach on any kind of dangerous area, but we'll determine that closer to it. But permission to close 17th, And I would love it also if we could request permission to declare First Friday as a special event like you do every year for us, that clears up any need for business licenses for us mom and pops that are just trying to get started as a vendor. And that's it.
I guess that's something we can take care of tonight on the request. Does the council have any concern with closing 17th for those festivals and making that a special event dedication for those Fridays? Jackie has mentioned. If not, I need no discussion. I need to make that in a motion.
I'll make a motion.
Our second.
Motion and a second for both of your requests.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for what you do.
Thank you.
We're excited.
We are too.
All right, Dawn, you're on this sign-in sheet.
I thought that was the sign-in sheet for when you come in.
Are you dancing or singing? What are you doing?
Before we go to the public comments, though, I had just one question for council member Cost. The county committed funds for the layout, the design and everything. It was presented initially, you know, the funds were based upon the initial layout. So will the county be informed about the potential design change?
The county gave up to 50% of the playground area.
Okay.
And it was mentioned that we was gonna do the pickleball, which I think the pickleball is pretty well. I'm not the voter, but I'm saying it looks like the pickleball is off of the menu, but you still got the same court to be able to play on for cornhole. So whatever the fee is, then the county will still give us the amount of money, up to 50% of whatever we spend on the playground.
Oh, okay, good.
So we won't lose that money.
All right.
Jennifer, you're on here. Did you mean to sign in? Or
Yes, we did. Good evening. I'm Jennifer Flanoy, and I'm a citizen of Calera. Coming back to ask about the traffic light for 70 and 42 before you do construction on 65. And also, if you have already done any precautions for the traffic itself, will you all put that out prior to the construction? So give citizens time and knowing the detours prior to construction. I know Chris Pappas is no longer with us, so did he leave that for anyone to come back with that information?
We'll gather that. I know that that construction on I-65 is gonna start on the Alabaster end.
True, but we're getting ready to go into summer. And 70 and 42 is already.
It won't be construction this summer.
It's not, but we still need a traffic light at 70 and 42.
That, the state has said that they will reconsider that once the gas station is built, and once we can pull a true traffic count from that gas station and what effect it has.
So my understanding was that a study was done and it's warranted.
It was a proposed count of what impact the gas station would have. The study warranted it, but the state did not approve it. And the state said they would revisit it once the gas station is built and we could come back with a true real-time traffic count.
So we need to say we as in the city, or?
The city. We would request another traffic count, another warrant study at that intersection, submit it back through the state again with real traffic counts, not proposed, and it would go back through the same process.
They're not considering what the traffic is right now?
It does not qualify as it is right now.
Until the gas station is put up?
The only way it warranted a lot there was a proposed count that the gas station would bring.
And then also you're gonna do the bridge on 25 again. There's a different bridge that's gonna go under construction.
State is gonna be doing it, state is
So-
gonna be redoing the bridge on 25.
We need you all to put pressure on them to put that traffic light at 42 and 70. That's gonna direct it yet again.
We,
I need you all to pressure them. I need to put pressure on the state.
Have you talked to the state?
It's been since last year.
It helps for the public, you know, the citizen and us, so just make sure we're
But it
all
also-
barking up the same tree.
But you can bark louder. You're here. We're telling you we need it. But,
I'm telling you, we need you.
But listening to the work session, some disturbing information. With the audit, I don't know if you remember, I was here and I said that with the deficit in the budget that was prior to what I heard in a work session, that we were already in a deficit in one of the budget accounts. The audit needs to be done for 2023, 24. Because if they're auditing 22, 23 is what she's doing, and we're already in a deficit now, moving money around, doing requests and spending money that is already supposedly budgeted for 23, 24 is causing issues. So an audit needs to be done now for 23, 24. Will that same firm be doing that audit?
Can I speak to that?
Yes.
We're required, I addressed it in the last work session. We're required by our bond company to have it every year. So I pulled out, last council meeting, I brought, I think it was our audit going back to 1940s. So we've had that every year. And our year ends September 30th, 2024, and then that will be done. So the citizens can rest assured that we have an audit done every year.
But it's after the fact.
Yes, the year has to end, and then they start auditing. We have
But
6
you need
months.
an audit now, because listening to what you said, you're moving money to different departments and different accounts to
Well,
make
we
the
do budget transfers that are
Right.
approved by the council. And I talked about last meeting that we passed a zero budget for the general fund. We have 10 different budgets, and we passed a zero budget. And then the next few meetings, Chief Heisch asked for some additional money, and that caused our budget to go negative. But we do budget adjustments quarterly, and we did those last meeting. So currently, our general fund budget has a $97,000 surplus. So it's a timing issue. Chief Heisch asked for something after the budget was zero, so the council approved it. And then when I bring first quarter budget adjustments, I show where that money comes from. So it's a standard
When I
way of
was here
doing it.
last year, you said that was $9 million.
That's in our capital project fund.
In
That's a
capital
different
project,
fund. We have
so-
10 different budgets.
10 different
And so we
budgets.
started, when the council approves a capital project, that money physically gets moved. So we physically have 9 million setting aside for the capital projects. But that's one budget. The main budget, when you hear cities talk about budget, is their general fund budget. And that's what
I'm talking
was
about
zero.
Calera. You're saying other cities. I'm talking about Calera.
Right, that's what I'm talking about. That when you hear on the news somebody talking about the budget, that's usually the general fund budget. And that's what the council passed as a zero budget. Revenues equaled expenses exactly.
So are you the only one doing the budget?
No, all the department heads weigh in on the budget and the council
Well, I'm
approves the
saying
budget.
you're the one that they're going to look at, see, and moving the money.
I do budget transfers that the council approves. I don't move anything without approval.
Okay. Well, I'm looking at it right now, that what they received, of the councilmen, who all got the letter? Raise your hand.
Well, I stated earlier, I got it.
You got it, you got it.
And I don't want to clarify
Okay.
that. What it is, it's a fraud interview, and it's just, they send it, and, you know, when I say it's random, it's usually random. So I don't
Right.
know what causes an auditor to send it, but it's, several of the department heads,
well,
it's
you
just a
said
letter
that.
asking them.
You said the reason why. Because you said that Kay said that she.
I'm
and
assuming
what-
that's why it was
what-
sent. But it's
That's what caused it.
It's a questionnaire asking if they know of any fraud. It shouldn't be offensive to you
But it
guys.
should be to everyone on that
No,
city council.
fraud interviews are random. They don't send them to everyone. It's a random, they send them.
And then she's inactive? I'm just saying,
Well, no,
I know this,
listen
and
to
I'm just
me.
letting you know, I know.
Stop right here.
But I'm just saying.
Stop right here,
Audit
Jennifer.
needs to be done.
Your time is up.
Okay, my time is up.
On this meeting.
23,
And
24 audit needs to be done.
It will be
Okay.
done.
Byron, you're
Before
next on the list.
next year.
Yeah, no, the year has to be closed for an audit to be done.
I think we'll take your time. I won't take much of your time. I just want to talk to Mayor Graham and thanks Ms. Connie for allowing me a couple minutes. I was at the city council meeting a few months ago about things in Calera. And so last 13 years, I've had a huge 707 tournament that brought, like last year, probably 1,500 people to Alabaster. And so this year, I've decided to move to Calera. I know you're talking about revenue and stuff to the city. This coming Saturday, I'm not coming up here asking for, donation or whatever. I'm just asking for support. In the past, I've done things in the city and I didn't get support and stuff. I'm trying to do stuff for the city here. This Saturday, we'll have probably about 50 or 60 of the top high school players in the country here at Calera. And what it means for the city of Calera, hotels are being booked. There's revenue for the fuel, gas station, food here in the city. And so I'm just trying to do some things in the city to help Calera and with in the future. And then also we got a golf tournament May 10th. We're bringing in several NFL players to Calera to play in the golf tournament. And so I just asking for the support of Calera to back what I'm trying to do for the city. That's all I have to say.
Thank you, man.
Hey, Byron, let me ask you something on that. You said it's 7-on-7.
Correct.
Is this basketball?
No, I'm sorry, let me get ripped inside. 707 is basically, it's like AAU basketball, but it's one of the top things now in the country where all of your top high school players are playing. It's touch football, one hand touch. You have 7 guys, all your skill position guys plays. So probably, I've been doing this now like 15 years. All your NFL players currently in the past Super Bowl, all the skill guys have played 7-on-7. And so it's probably gonna be, you'll probably have this Saturday, I would say, probably 20 guys at least, we play on Sunday.
Where's it gonna be held at?
At the park, we're using the high school field and the new track up at the high school.
In time?
At the high school, Clear.
What time?
Oh, I'm sorry, my bad. It'll start at 8 o'clock Saturday morning. And it'll probably go till, last year, in Alabaster Thompson went to about, we were done by 6:30. We'll have about 35 teams come in from ages 15 till rising seniors. I'm sorry, 13 rising seniors. Nope, sorry, 12 rising seniors.
12?
Mm-hmm.
Come out and watch some good football.
Yep. Thank you.
Thank you, man. That's all I have on the agenda. Motion to be done. Motion.